What's the motherfucking deal, man? Welcome to the den. I am your host, Ed Honcho. All the information you need to know will be cycling kind of through the video right there. So we're just going to get into it. We're not going to waste a lot of time with it. Story happened a couple of days ago, and I've been wanting to talk about it. I'm just not really getting around to getting to chop it up. Man, you know, they say blood is thicker than water, man, and maybe that's not always the case. This ain't the first time we've ever heard of, you know, family members having a dispute or family members, you know, taking one to the other out. I just found this one to be very interesting, extremely odd, because this one involved a set of twins in New Jersey. And, you know, hours before the incident took place, they were on Facebook, you know, apparently hanging out together. And again, make sure you check out the Den live every night, 10 p.m. Central, and the morning dens have moved to weekdays at 1 p.m. Central Time. So make sure you join us live. You can call into the Den line. You can share your thoughts, you know, live with the Den folk. It's always a good time. But Anna and Amanda Ramirez from New Jersey. And let's just kind of get to the story. I'm not going to read all of it, but there's a few articles kind of tied into it because the story's been updated a little bit. And we'll just kind of get into it. And I'm going to kind of give my thoughts on what I believe happened, even though there's been, you know, disputing reports. And I just find the story extremely interesting, even the family's take on this. So it's extremely strange and sad at the same time. But let's get into it. This is from the Daily Mail. All the links will be in the description below, so if you want to read these for yourself, you know, you'll have the ability to do so. It says, picture final Facebook photo shows New Jersey twins, 27 years old, spending time together less than 2 hours before one sister fatally stabbed the other. The reason why I like Daily Mail is they give that little synopsis, like the little points of the story. Amanda Ramirez of Camden, New Jersey was charged with aggravated manslaughter. 27-year-old was arrested for stabbing her identical twin, Anna, to death. Cops said they found Anna unconscious with a stab wound early Saturday. Anna was taken to a local hospital, declared dead 6:20 a.m. Camden County Prosecutor's Office did not release details on the motive. Amanda is held in Camden County Jail pending a pre-trial detention hearing. Anna's obituary says she was a devoted mother of 3 and a nursing assistant. So kind of getting into them, you know, just briefly what I've taken from this story. I'm still kind of sketchy on the details whether they live together or not, but Amanda has 1 child, Anna has 3. And can you imagine how what kind of impact that has on the children, even though they said they've forgiven her, that your aunt killed your mother, and then they look alike, kind of. But I'm gonna point some things out. What I believe, and I could be wrong, and these are just my opinions. The Den Show is the best conversation on the internet, but it is social commentary from a realistic perspective, and I'm just gonna take things that, you know, my observation from everyday life, people I've spoken with, talked to, not necessarily involving this, but just my thoughts. Anyway, let's get into it. Less than 2 hours before, 27-year-old mother of 3 was found stabbed to death in New Jersey. She shared a photo on social media showing her spending time with her twin sister, who would later be arrested for her death. Instead, Amanda Ramirez, 27, was charged with aggravated manslaughter, kind of what we know. Around 5:30 a.m. on Saturday in the Centennial Village Apartments Complex, 1200 block of East State Street in Camden County. 3:43 a.m., Anna shared on her Facebook page a still photograph showing her huddling with her twin sister's female cousin and a young man in glasses. This is where it gets extremely interesting, right? So, as you can see the photos here, they were recently hanging out just a couple hours before. Not sure exactly where the location is. It looks like they could be at an apartment. I don't know if they were out and about. I'm not familiar with New Jersey like that. You know the vibe. Anna wrote in the captions, would have to be her very last post just before 4 a.m. The cousin of Ramirez, the Ramirez shared on her own Facebook page a very brief video of them sitting on the stoop with the twins, the same bespectacled man with his arm around Amanda. All 4 appear to be in a jovial mood, sticking their tongues out for the camera. We already, you know, I don't want to get into that. That's such an odd thing. Police said they received a call about an unconscious woman at the address and came upon Anna with a stab wound in her chest. All right. Now notice, these are supposed to be identical twins, right? There are some differences, definitely, that you can tell from first observation, from your left to right, and we'll get further into that. She was taken to Cooper University Hospital, pronounced dead less than an hour later. Victim's sister Amanda was later arrested, taken to Camden County Correctional. And this is June 2018. I guess these photos here are from June 2018. And, you know, these are some childhood photos. Now, you can see as you go down this picture, the one I think on further on the left is Amanda, the one who is accused of doing the stabbing. The one a little bit to the right is Anna, who was the one who was killed. Prosecutor's office did not announce Amanda was being charged until Monday. She's waiting pre-trial hearing to determine whether she'll be allowed to post bond. According to Anna's obituary, she's a devoted mother of 3. GoFundMe has been set up. The funeral expenses describe her death as an extremely painful and unexpected tragedy. Tragedy. I'm gonna learn this English language real soon. Was known, loved by her peers, had a humble demeanor, kindness, and willing to give with a pure heart. Again, left and right. I think left is the one who committed the manslaughter, and the one on the right is the other. Now these are supposed to be identical twins. Okay, as we continue to kind of scroll down, you can kind of just see the similarities and differences. You have some people sharing some things on Facebook, saying it was their own twin, and they just kind of go into, the usual when someone passes, the good things that they say about them. And they're talking about, donating, I guess, to get her buried and everything like that. And someone wrote, RPN, my prayers are with your kids and family. It's just unsettling. I'm praying for these baby girls, yours and your sisters. I'm praying for your sister. This don't add up. Well, I don't think there's too much else to add to it. A couple of scenes from the crime, or I guess the scene where it took place. Go through a couple of other articles, and I'll tell you what I'm thinking. I mean, you can notice from those pictures, right? And I'm not saying this is the case. The police initially said something about a love triangle. I don't know if it was the dude that was involved. I would be assuming maybe so. I don't know if alcohol was involved. I don't know what was actually going on. And there's, I guess, a lot of clues that will eventually be revealed. Now, to be identical, there are some noticeable differences. One is a little bit bigger than the other. And there's nothing wrong with big girls. They love BBWs. Nothing wrong with that. But you have to wonder, and with women, you have jealousy, okay? I'm not saying that this is the case. It's just me making assumptions, off the top of my head. And especially supposedly supposed to be identical. Alcohol brings out things. I don't know if alcohol was involved. Again, me making assumptions. So don't go out and say, this guy said all this other stuff. Okay, these are me making my assumptions. And I don't know, with women, especially family, it takes a lot to break those bonds. And usually man issues, when it comes to women, it's either your child or a man, usually, that comes in between friends or family or something like this to make you want to kill the other, because there's not too many other things that would do that. Now, there could have been some underlying jealousy that could have been boiling for years, and it could have been a situation, if there was a love triangle situation going on, that could have been the case. Hey, I don't know. This is just me making an assumption. Again, it's very unfortunate this situation took place, and we'll find out more details in the days to come. Kind of scrolling down, said woman accused of stabbing her identical twin to death Saturday told police several different stories about the killing, but eventually said that she stabbed her only after her sister started the fight and came at her with the knife. So apparently she's Jet Li and was able to finesse the knife from her sister and then stab her with it. I have a hard time believing that because, again, if you're in your right mind, your sister, if she's attacking you, not necessarily wanting to hurt her, if you were able to get the knife away, then I think that you wouldn't have stabbed her. Me personally, I think you would, just kind of maybe discard it or, try to prevent a situation from happening. But again, emotions can be flying high. Don't know what else was involved. It's a late night. People are hanging out generally. People get to drinking or whatever they're thinking. Who knows? But let's kind of, like I say, run down this. And I got a couple other thoughts on this story. And as I'll try to pay close attention to it to find out what's happening. Again, same stuff that was kind of said in the other article. Nothing too different here. Probable cause statement said they found Amanda Ramirez standing outside her apartment, saw bloody footprints and blood on her clothing. At the police station, she told police 3 different stories. First, claiming she had discovered her sister was injured but didn't know who stabbed her, right? And this is why I say these are interesting things. when or where she was stabbed. But later in the interview, she described a fight that turned fatal, police said. She said she, her sister, and a friend left her relative's home in the early morning hours of Saturday, and I'm assuming that's the cousin, but when they got to Centennial Village, her sister started a fight by striking her in the face, according to the statement, right? So why? What if this was the case, right? Why lie about it at first? You know, and that's what makes me question something. You know, if it was purely self-defense, you know, why lie about it initially? You know, I didn't know what happened. I don't know who did anything, right? And if it's just purely self-defense, you would come out and say, well, I was defending myself. This is what took place. This is what happened. And I have a hard time believing that. So I do believe that there's some underlying factor. Again, I don't know about the love triangle aspect of it. I don't know the details of it. And like I say, hopefully these things come out so people can have a better understanding of why and what took place. Amanda stated her and her sister exchanged multiple blows, and Amanda Ramirez, ultimately ended up on her knees. She claimed her sister went into the residence, retrieved a knife, and approached her brandishing the knife. Amanda Ramirez said she struggled with her sister for control of the knife and ultimately stabbed her sister in the chest. Amanda had visible injuries, including scratches to her face, head, multiple cuts on her left index finger, dried blood on her ear, the statement said. Now, to me, I think Amanda was getting her ass whooped over whatever the situation may have been. I don't know. Again, all speculation. But she was probably getting her ass whooped because usually when the aggressor or somebody is winning a fight, they don't just overdo it. You know, if they feel like they've got the victory or the upper hand without needing weapons or anything like that. What is the reason to go in the house? You're already on your knees. If I'm kicking your ass, I will have the upper hand, the advantage. I'm going to continue kicking your ass if that's what I want to keep doing. So again, who knows? Who knows exactly what's happening? I have a little bit of fault in believing that story. So she told police she didn't remember what she did with the knife, but police checked the kitchen knife in the apartment, found one that preliminarily tested positive for blood. Police wrote in a statement. Ramirez's mother declined to speak, and I know it has to be hard for a mom in a situation like that. It has to be very tough. Was a mother of three daughters who worked as a certified nursing assistant. That was Anna. So now she has three kids who don't have a mom. And I don't know about the father's situation. I'm assuming not married. Don't know if they're all from the same dad or what, again. So it'll be very interesting to hear and see what happens as the story comes along. Another article, just like I said, this one's actually from, I think, the New Jersey Courier, or I'm assuming this is a New Jersey paper, I'm not sure. Courier Post. Again, all links in the description. I'm going to run through this because, again, a lot of the same stuff. But there was an eyewitness, and the eyewitness was a neighbor. And here's the deal. The judge noted an eyewitness statement, which was disclosed at the hearing, that described Amanda Ramirez assaulting her sister outside her home about 5:40 a.m., then retrieving a large knife from her apartment as the victim backed away. So see, this is what I'm telling you. If Anna was winning the fight, why would she go in the apartment and get the knife? Obviously, Amanda had some issues and something more personal with Amanda. You know, they say that you are most likely to get killed by someone you know. And unfortunately, in this situation, it was the twin sister. And I think that, you know, manslaughter might not be the case. They may up it up to a murder charge. You know, if you deliberately went in, got a knife, and killed this woman. It wasn't about you. It wasn't about self-defense. It wasn't about anything like that. I really feel like this is jealousy and envy. And what does this have to, what brings a person to that level? Usually relationship issues, possibly money. And again, to go to that level, usually some type of other substance is involved. These, again, all my speculations. This is just me, you know, putting my thoughts out there. At Centennial Village, a neighbor said she heard the twins arguing all night long Saturday. Both twins, she said, live in the complex. Anna Ramirez with her three kids and Amanda Ramirez with one child. So both in the complex. I'm not sure if it's the same apartment or if it's different. But the witness said, who did not see the fatal assault, heard the victim call out, "Amanda, you stabbed me." You know. Deborah Hobbs said she knew Amanda Ramirez well. She lived in an adjacent apartment. She didn't know Amanda as well, but the twins were together often. Okay, so they must have stayed in separate apartments is what I'm assuming, but I guess in the same complex. You just don't do that. It's messed up what happened. You can fight with your sister and all that, but Anna didn't deserve that. Public defender argued for Ramirez's release, describing her actions as reckless but not intentional. Obviously, they had to be intentional if you win the knife. You went to go get the weapon and then you executed your plans. This was not deliberate. This was not a deliberate, purposeful act. Noting the prosecution had brought a lesser homicide charge against Ramirez, a home health aide with one child. So One is a nursing assistant, one is a home health aide. Also noted, Ramirez has no record of felony convictions. You said, but Assistant Camden County Prosecutor Peter Gallagher alleged that the woman tried to thwart investigators, and that's where I guess they come with the multiple stories, contradictory accounts. This is an evidence of consciousness of guilt, and I would agree with that. Ramirez bowed her head, pressed her face against her shoulder much of the hearing, sobbed periodically as about 20 family members and friends watched from the gallery. Faced a potential sentence of 10 to 30 years with no early release. Gallagher said Ramirez gave 3 conflicting accounts of her sisters after a night of drinking. Okay, so, I assume that alcohol was involved, and I was right. And I know y'all, you probably read these articles. I get the story. I don't always read through the articles. I just try to make sure that, maybe it's not too much information in it. Sometimes I forget. Okay, so in their final verdict, she admitted to stabbing her twin, who was the mother of 3. Amanda Ramirez claimed her twin was the aggressor, introduced a knife in the fight, but Gallagher noted in a statement from the eyewitness said the opposite. He also noticed Ramirez had once been ordered to participate in an anger management program. Obviously, unfortunately, that didn't appear to have the desired effect. And again, these are some pictures and things from the home. You can see the candles in the shape of an A, the balloons. This is all very sad. It is all very sad. Here's the last article, and this is where they allegedly, when I first saw this, and this is why I was kind of interested in the story, they were talking about a love triangle, but then they changed it up. Family of alleged killer twin thinks cops made up love triangle. Again, you can kind of see a little bit different. You can see that one is a little bit slimmer. And sometimes, when it comes to competing for men, women can get extremely possessive, aggressive, manipulative, and sometimes, hey, you don't want to deal with the competition. I don't know. I don't know the family. I don't know these women. Again, these are me making speculations. Alcohol is a motherfucker. What other reason would drinking cause you to want to stab your sister unless you have a serious alcohol problem? A New Jersey woman accused of stabbing her identical twin over a boyfriend doesn't remember the fatal fight. According to distraught siblings, they would have never happened. And it kind of just goes, that's the third sister Saturday, the pair would never fight over a man. They would argue like cats and dogs, but stuck together like thieves. Monica Medina, 19. So I guess she's probably from a different father. So she's younger, a few years younger, eight years younger. The other two are 27. One of the tightest, inseparable. Apparently it has been separated now. I don't know how tight it was. People will say certain things because, they want to paint people in a good light when you're close to them, when you feel that way. Outside to strangers, it may look a little bit different. Amanda has her own significant other. Anna has her own significant other. Anna lived with her boyfriend of 2.5 years. Luis Rivera. Amanda had been in a relationship for a couple of years. Medina said she believes cops fabricated the love triangle claims. All right, detectives thought this is the next big thing. Sister kills twin over a man. Okay, and again, depending on the type of relationship certain people have with law enforcement and stuff, they're going to look at it in a negative light, regardless of what is going on. Who knows? Again, everybody's not faithful. I'm not saying that these women are cheating or doing any of these other things. Who knows? I'm curious to know, why did the alcohol fuel this fight to this level? It had to be something. We do not believe this was a jealous act nor done purposely. We believe she didn't do such a thing, right? You didn't believe it, but you got the blood, you got the knife, you got all this other stuff. You have an eyewitness. Again, it's very interesting to see. Detectives were all inside of her head. She gave 3 different stories, but the last one didn't feel correct, nor did it sit right in any of our hearts. So again, when you have family, sometimes you can be too close to a story, too close to a situation, and it'll impact the way that you see it. But again, Amanda's facing a charge of aggravated manslaughter for the June 22nd killing. Is lost, alone, hurt, most of all devastated. She's as strong as she can be. I know mentally she's lost, confused. Her other half is gone and no longer with us. Well, she took the other half. Again, you can kind of see in this photo here a little bit of a difference, and I don't know why. That's the thought that always comes to mind. You're supposed to be identical. We know in society's image of attractiveness and things like that. There could always have been some slight envy, especially with a person that you're supposed to look just like, or you could people feel slighted, people feel a particular kind of way inside. You never know the thoughts internally of people unless they express them outwardly, and that may or may not have been something that she's done. Who knows? Amanda's boyfriend, like the rest of her family, standing by her. According to Medina, she would not disclose his name. We all forgive Amanda. She knows we're here to support, comfort, and love her. I lost 2 sisters. I want her home. And I can understand that thought, but I kind of can't. Again, it's tough to imagine that. They still hold their beautiful heads up strong. They still love Amanda. Medina said, we're a family, stick together. Grief Chick says she's lost over the death of Anna. who she called her best friend. It hurts more than anyone would know. We're all heartbroken. And he said she found out about the 5:30 a.m. stabbing on social media, but didn't learn it was in until about 11 a.m., 4 hours after the woman was pronounced dead at Cooper University Hospital. We went to the hospital after trying to find Anna. They tell us they're holding Amanda. Then they tell us she's being charged. She couldn't speak nor walk. This didn't feel real, especially when the accusations came out that Amanda did it. Again, so with that being said, you know, you can be too close to a situation. You can be too involved in a situation, and it's unfortunate the loss of life here, but I think details need to come out. And with it being alcohol fueled, we never get the full story. Depending on how under the influence a person was, depending on how drunk somebody was, you know, they're never going to recall correctly the events. But the eyewitness was there, and she was able to provide, I guess, some insight to it. It's very unfortunate, but a family is, you know, if they feel like somebody wouldn't do something they just can't believe, they'll refuse to believe it no matter what. You can look at the case with old buddy out of Chicago, the actor, and all the evidence, all the proof and everything is there, but people are still saying, oh, he was set up, or he was, you know, this, that, and the third. If somebody doesn't want to believe something because they have a connection or they have this affection for a person, then they never will believe it. It'll always be a setup. It'll always be something fraud, no matter what the truth may be, no matter what evidence may come to light. They'll always believe what they want to believe. But the unfortunate situation here is that this young woman lost her life. These children don't have a mother. I don't know if all the kids are with the boyfriend or if they're his children or what, but it's a very unfortunate situation. And right now, you know, that these kids believe that their mom was killed by her twin sister. And that's to lose a parent in the first place is terrible. But to imagine that it's your own family, and then again, someone who looks just like your mom. So anytime that you see this woman, if you see this woman, you see your mom. And that's a sad, sad situation. But those are my thoughts on it, man. I'd like to know how you feel, man. Hit that comment section below if you agree or disagree. Do you think I'm reaching with the envy situation, the jealousy situation? Do you think it was a love triangle? Do you think there was a third party involved? What made alcohol escalate this situation to the point of where it became a murder or manslaughter, whatever they're going to charge her with? I'd like to know how you feel. Again, then live weekdays, 1 p.m. now, no longer 10 a.m. It's been moved back to 1 p.m. Central on weekdays. Make sure you follow all the proper social medias. 10 p.m. Central live every night. You can call in live in the early show or the evening show and express your thoughts on whatever the night's topic may be, or if you have something that you just want to chime in on, whatever your thoughts may be, you're all welcome. We're all friends in the den. This has been Social Commentary from a Realistic Perspective. I'm Ed Honcho. But with that being said, hey, y'all be cool like y'all be cool. I appreciate you coming through and watching the video. It is an honor, a privilege, and a pleasure to get to chop it up with you and hear your thoughts on that. With that being said, I'm gone.